Let's look at the punishment of apartheid bill. A bill that, while it calls to criminalize apartheid today in South Africa, is so widely written that, if implemented, it would make everything from comparing the current ANC regime to apartheid, as we do on this channel quite regularly, to supporting the State of Israel, a crime that can be prosecuted and send you to jail for doing. While this bill was introduced by a small local Islamic political party, it is sponsored by parties making up the majority of the representativity in this country, including the ANC, the EFF and the MK party. The bill seeks to turn a Cold War-era UN resolution into binding law in this country, not to punish alleged past apartheid abusers or actors, but to prosecute people today for so-called apartheid crimes. These apartheid crimes can be committed anywhere in the world, at any time. Al-Jamaa, a small Islamic political party in South Africa and a junior partner in Cyril Ramaphosa's Government of National Unity, has introduced a new bill recently published in the Government Gazette known as the Implementation of the International Convention on the Suppression and Punishment of the Crime of Apartheid Bill. In essence, the bill aims to domesticate a 1973 UN Convention on Apartheid, wherein the majority of member states who voted for apartheid to be declared a crime against humanity. But surprisingly, the bill that Al-Jamaa has introduced is not about prosecuting anyone for so-called past injustices under the National Party government. It is about persecuting people today, both in South Africa and abroad, and especially focused on Israelis or South African Jews for committing the so-called crime of apartheid today. And in this initiative to persecute Israel and its supporters in South Africa, it is backed by the ANC and all of its allies, both inside and outside the Government of National Unity. And shockingly, the 8 parties that support this bill represent no less than 69% of South Africa's voters. In 1973, the United Nations voted on whether to classify apartheid as a crime against humanity. In this election, Anglosphere countries such as the United States and the United Kingdom, as well as South Africa's ally Portugal, voted against such a classification, with most Western European countries abstaining from voting and Middle Eastern and Eastern communist countries all voting in favor. As this resolution was not voted in by a majority of UN countries, but rather a majority of abstainees, this resolution declaring apartheid a crime against humanity was consequently never globally ratified. In other words, apartheid was never globally sanctioned as a crime against humanity. And the voting patterns in 1973 clearly showed that the entire resolution was ultimately the fruit of 20th century Cold War geopolitics. Now, however, one political party in South Africa is trying to domesticate this law that was never internationally ratified, something that has never had much more than merely a symbolic significance at the UN. Al-Jamaa, this political party, which made history in 2019, in the general election by becoming the first Islamic party to win any seat in South Africa's parliament. The party, which advocates for Sharia law in South Africa, grew to 2 seats in 2024, and its leader Ghanif Hendricks joined Cyril Ramaphosa's Government of National Unity as Deputy Minister of Social Development. Back in 2019, Hendricks also became the first parliamentarian in South Africa's history to be sworn in using the Quran. Most of the party's support comes from Cape-colored Muslims, with its leadership network being almost entirely based in Cape Town. In terms of its geopolitical orientation, the party roughly aligns with major Pan-Africanist parties in this country, such as the ANC, the MK and the EFF, with the only difference the Sharia law component. It is, of course, very much anti-Israel and very much pro-Palestine, but also distinctly anti-Western, supporting the BRICS and Global South alliances. The party has also been instrumental in the government's decision to welcome the flights with Palestinian refugees currently arriving one after the other in South Africa.
The situation is panned out is that the reality is that these Palestinians have come in.
Yeah.
And I think the patriotic citizens in South Africa were duty-bound to see how we can assist. And from Al Jamaah's perspective, this was the reason we rushed through to the airport to see how we can help when all the requests came in to see, they needed accommodation, transport, food. And it was sad to see that these Palestinians that came in didn't even have a bag. They didn't have any bag, any clothes. What is our humanitarian duties? I mean, as South Africans, I must say, we are a proud nation, we are a rainbow nation. The beauty of South Africa is we are a rainbow nation. None of us can claim that the land belongs to us. None of us. And the reality is throughout the world, you have expatriates, and it's the way we handle situations. And I think our government is handling it tremendously well in terms of the Palestinians coming into South Africa and their stance with regards to the humanitarian rights of the Palestinians.
Last year, Al Jamaah announced that it would table what it calls the Apartheid Complicity Bill, with Hendricks announcing that Israel is an apartheid state and those South Africans, including parliamentarians who support it, are therefore complicit and must face the full might of the law in this country. While the Apartheid Complicity Bill hasn't actually been tabled then, Al Jamaah has now introduced yet another bill, known as the Implementation of Apartheid Convention Bill, which has indeed been published in the Government Gazette number 53662 on the 14th of November this year. What this bill in essence does is it aims to domesticate the UN Convention on Apartheid so that it becomes a standalone crime under South Africa's domestic law, one that you can be found guilty of for acts committed today or tomorrow or yesterday. In other words, this bill is not aimed at persecuting anyone specifically involved in apartheid, the actual apartheid, as it was implemented in South Africa in the 20th century. This bill wants to persecute people for so-called acts of apartheid that they can commit at any time or any place in the world today. And the purpose of this law, per Al Jamaah itself, is to grant extraterritorial jurisdiction to South African courts to persecute individuals, South African citizens, or residents or persons present in South Africa for apartheid crimes committed anywhere, including inside South Africa. This is significant as it shows that the purpose of the bill is specifically to take what Al Jamaah describes as the global fight against racial segregation from Israel to South Africa. Yet the bill do not only aim to equip South African courts to persecute Israel supporters here on home soil, but it also grants them the right to persecute those who support the apartheid, whatever that means, abroad. In its official press release announcing the bill, Al Jamaah notes that the bill aims to hold to account those who engage in apartheid activities, including PR stunts. This could effectively criminalize activities by the media or public relations firms that do communications work or just speak out against the ANC in general, or clients engaged in Israeli-Palestinian issues. And Al Jamaah is not by any means alone in proposing this bill. It is backed by not only the ANC, but also the MK, the EFF, the PAC, Pan-Africanist Congress, the Good Party, the National Coloured Congress, and Rise Mzansi. Of the 8 parties supporting this bill, 5 are members of the GNU, while 3 are not. And given that this bill lacks the support of the vast majority of the GNU members, it signifies that the ANC has no problem strategically siding against its own coalition partners when it suits them. Nonetheless, the 8 parties that back this bill represent just under 69% or 2/3 of South Africa's electorate, implying that there will be broad support for this in Parliament when tabled. If this bill becomes law, the legal consequences for South Africa would be severe and unprecedented. By creating a freestanding extraterritorial apartheid crime enforceable in South Africa's courts, the country would effectively grant itself the power to prosecute journalists, lobbyists, media men, business people, diplomats, academics, and even the tourists merely on the grounds of supporting the State of Israel or saying anything that the state can consider apartheid apologetics. Corporations working with Israeli partners could suddenly face criminal jeopardy. Media houses running anti-ANC or anti-corruption pieces could be criminalized as engaging in PR stunts against South Africa. South Africa would become a high-risk jurisdiction for anyone connected to Israel or the Middle East, or simply anyone who does not like the fact that the ANC is persecuting white people in this country. This will trigger a wave of constitutional challenges, diplomatic disputes, and investor flights. On a geopolitical level, South Africa would further isolate itself if this bill were to pass. Israel would almost certainly sever relations with South Africa, while Western states, even beyond just the United States of America, would reassess intelligence cooperation, extradition treaties, and investment guarantees. By so aggressively realigning itself with the radical element of the Global South, South Africa would be signaling that it is willing to weaponize international law in pursuit of ideological goals. All, of course, at the expense of our already extremely fragile economy, our alliances with the West, Europe, those that still look okay, and our credibility to the world on the world stage. The ANC and its allies seem to have opted for the path of continued destruction and isolation and self-destruction. We highlighted the fact that the ANC's downfall is becoming inevitable in a recent video. You can view this video by clicking on this link appearing on your screen right now. And remember to become a member of the Willem Petzer Group. Only with your support can we continue making these videos to change the hearts and minds of people. Simply follow the steps on this banner underneath me. Goodbye, God bless, and Merry Christmas.